advertising professional or the advertising agencies, is it within its ability, let's say, to imbue a brand with purpose? Isn't that something that the owner of the brand, in that case the person who's generating the brand, whether it's a product or a service, doesn't that come from there?
9 times out of 10, no. I mean, if you take an iconic brand like McDonald's, Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, once said, we're not in the hamburger business, we're in the people business. We're here to serve the people. People are king. And purpose drives brands because it's why they exist. It's their conviction to people and society. And it's a far higher ground for brands to play in than rational proposition. You can look at business through a business lens and analytics and data and drive it against that, or you can choose to look at it through a far more human lens. And I think what you see here is universal consensus that our focus is people.
Okay, I want everybody to illustrate this point that there seems to be total consensus on with an example of a brand that has done it but doesn't belong to your agency.
Okay, let me take that on first.
Okay.
Look at Cadbury's. What is the purpose of that? To bring joy to people, correct? It's not selling milk, it's actually selling joy. And then the way the Cadbury Dairy Milk advertising today, the new commercial, which is actually changing the behavior. We all know that when we are successful, when something good happens in our lives, we celebrate with little sweet. And today they are saying, celebrate the attempt, start and celebrate the beginning. So before you want to do anything good, try and then celebrate it with a, and we are also very, very sensitive and auspicious people. And then if you start with a superstition of eating sweet and you think that you are going to succeed, what a wonderful way of celebrating the attempt, not the result.
Okay, Piyush?
Tata Tea, what Lintas has done with Tata Tea is taking issues that people are sick of, taking issues on behavior, on society's corruption, on taking issues about getting up and making that little difference to the world, and that's been received in the fashion, the way it has been served. So I think that's a great example.
Prasoon? Tata Tea?
Tata Tea, actually,
I
was about to say Tata Tea because I feel Tata Tea has done it very well, taking issues and also, again, it doesn't sound pretentious, it doesn't sound preachy to me, it has a connect, it has taken the basic intrinsic benefit and taken it into life and given metaphorical meaning of waking up to issues, waking up to, corruption, waking up to various things bother you around you. I think it's a wonderful way of taking the intrinsic forward.
Balki?
Vodafone, I mean, it's a great example. It's got none of these obvious social connects, but it's given back to people, characters. It's given back to people. They never knew the name of the dog. They never knew the breed of the dog. It's given people a new breed of a dog. I mean, that is an awesome kind of social experience because it's something that has contributed to my life. It hasn't changed my, my opinions of the world or whatever, but it's given me something to dream about, something to kind of think about, something to crack jokes on, something to laugh about. It's contributed to my life.
It's contributed to our mass culture.
Huge. And that, I think, is possibly the greatest achievement of a brand when it connects by contributing, by adding something which is not in my life, rather than borrowing something from my life and exploding it and saying I'm connecting with you.
A non-Neobanet brand?
There are many, there are many successful iconic brands, and I mean, for me, it would probably be a large brand, something like Johnny Walker. If you think of the Keep Walking campaign, that has elevated that brand to the highest level. And the man who walked around the world is a brilliant story. And ultimately, we are storytellers, and the brands with the best stories win, the brands with the best narrative win. That story has endured over time, and as that brand has grown, because it captures the essence of people and their approach to life.
So people are important. To connect with people is your job, and the secret to success. How do each one of you personally, given where you are at, stay in touch with people?
I think you have to make the effort. You have to travel. You have to listen to what they are listening to. You have to go and look at their theatre forms. You have to read people's lives. You have to be constantly in touch, otherwise you will be left behind. I was very fortunate that I played a lot of cricket, and cricket didn't have money in those days.
Journeys came in very handy.
Yeah, because there was no money in cricket, so they used to take us by third-class compartments, unreserved.
But you traveled.
So I got to rub shoulders with the people at a very early age.
Yeah.
And the learning from there is that don't you ever forget that. The day you forget that, you will lose the connection completely. So you have to be in touch to know them.
I always say that, you know, ideas choose us, we don't get ideas. And ideas will only choose you if you are a worthy medium. And if you are, how can you become a worthy medium? By creating an atmosphere around you. So
that's receptive to ideas.
You are receptive to, you have an atmosphere around you, you have a good company, the kind of company you should keep. You should, the kind of things you should read. I think if you are sitting in an ivory tower, not connected with the world will reject you soon. You will be you will be in your ivory tower forever.
So what do you do? Because the more successful you get, the more rarefied the circles people start occupying, isn't it?
I attend all my friends' family functions and I stay there because culture is also ever-changing river. I mean, the culture we lived in. For example, at times people write scripts and radio spots, I feel, but this India has changed. Probably though they haven't gone to those gullies where they are talking about those gullies where, you know, somebody who used to shout false, but that those false and those gullies are not anymore there. They're only nostalgia. So the new generation will not relate with it as a current sort of happening. They relate with it as somebody's past.
Right.
Now, you have to understand you're referring to past or you're so your present, which used to be your childhood, is somebody's past now.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that.
Yeah.
To do that, you have to understand the culture is not static. It is ever flowing.
Balki?
It's my personal belief. It's not so much about me understanding people, it's about people understanding me too. Because I believe that a brand pays not just for communication, and I think those things can be achieved, how to communicate and everything else. There is a part of you that needs to be in every brand. Because that's why I don't think it's a pure science, it's not a communication business. There is a bit of something in you there. So if you need to, while understanding or living a normal life, somewhere very selfishly preserve yourself a little bit. And the preservation happens by not doing a lot of things, by actually not learning, but unlearning a hell of a lot. And the most crucial years, and the crucial thing to do in advertising is to remember the years that you lived before you came into advertising, because you've lived very little after that. As long as you don't forget those years, I mean, you're living.
You're saying hang on to the core which will actually create the differentiation when it comes to ideas.
It's your core that's going to create the differentiation, because the world is the same for a lot of people. People can interpret it differently. Maybe a lot of people will be interpreting it also similarly. But what people can't do is put a part of yourself in that thing. And that is what differentiates, I think, two pieces of communication.
Balki, I just differ a little bit, yes. Yeah? Because I feel, you know, in fine arts, if you're writing a short story, because it's a standalone art form, and you are not trying to influence people. You're saying, listen to my honest sort of expression.
I get that.
It's not about honest expression.
It's not honest.
It's always about relevant expression. So you got to.
No, it's this. I know it's tea. I can't turn it upside down. I can't do this stuff. These are things part of life has taught me. But I can drink it with like this. Okay, that's my style. I would like to put my touch to whatever you do, and for that, it's not easy to preserve your touch if you are confused about yourself.
But in the commercial art space, which is what advertising or human communications is essentially, can you be that distinct?
It's commercial, but still art.
Okay.
Yeah, I think anyone's work out here will have a little bit of stamp of his life and liking.
I'm not disagreeing with that. All I'm saying, as I said about language, you know, I've been brought up, and Balki, it's the truth, I've been brought up on a certain, you know, the kind of language I was brought up in Lucknow, and the Lucknow I used to know. I'm telling you the reality. When I go there, I don't see, if I speak and express myself in the particular language, the way I used to speak, it's no more, it has changed, it's moved on. It has a lot of English words entered in a rickshaw wala's, you know,
I think what Balki is saying, Prasoon, is that
so there is an amalgamation.
Your joy of writing is your style. It is not that kind of language, but you're playing around with words. Is Prasoon.
But
Prasoon.
But it's not isolated.
I think like a Nawab. People stand up and kind of watch. Yeah. That is what you put your style into what is reality today.
I think the one word that drives me is participation. You have to participate in life. Look outside of this room at the world. This is life. This is the people. You're trying to connect with people in a meaningful fashion. You'll only ever do that if you become a human sponge.
Pops, what's your secret to stay connected?
I think there are two things. You know, one is the past. As Balki said, we both are partners for nothing. Past is precious. There are lots of values which you learn in life. Those values never change. Those values will never go out of fashion. The second part which he was talking about, the culture. To stay in connection with the values, you have to go back to your roots. I think I use lots of, it's no secret that I am active on the social networking, whether it is my blogging or Twitter or Facebook. That is where you actually interact with 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds, and then you imbibe lots of new things which are happening in the society.